Hi and welcome back to the Gamlins vlog. It's Friday afternoon and we're all looking forward to the weekend after what has been one of the most challenging weeks I'm sure that most people have had in their professional lives. So it's a bit of a light-hearted touch to the vlogs to round off the end of the working week for those of us who work in a traditional 9 to 5. Anyway, we're going to have a look at home working and what makes a good home office. Just as a bit of a side note, for all of those of you who are out there working for the NHS, the emergency services, and who are frontline for the coronavirus effort, our household joined you in the applause last night, and a fantastic well done to all of you who are carrying on with that effort and working outside of those Monday to Friday hours and pulling some extremely long shifts during this difficult time. So on to working from home. So this is a new challenge for many people. I have been fortunate enough to work occasionally from home a couple of days a week now for a couple of years. So I like to feel that I've got quite a good system going at home and really know what makes a good home working office. So we're going to go through some do's and some don'ts first and take a look at what a good home office setup looks like. The top of my list is always get up and get out of bed nice and early. So just because you're working from home, don't roll out of bed at 5 to 9 and sit at your desk or particularly still in bed, either in your pyjamas or in comfy clothes. For me, I still get up, get dressed as if I am going to work and get myself well set up at my desk before 9 o'clock. So that includes, taking the dog out, making myself feel presentable and doing any household tasks that need to be done before I start work. Your desk needs to be all set up and clear as well, ready for you to start work at 9 o'clock. If you just roll out of bed and don't leave yourself any time, you're not in the right headspace and you're not ready for work at 9 o'clock. And you can find that you spend quite a lot of your morning not really being very productive and certainly not being in the right mindset for work. As part of that, getting dressed and feeling the part is part of that as well. I certainly feel more productive when I am feeling like I'm actually at work. Some people say that part of this is that you should wear shoes because you always wear shoes in the office. I don't actually feel the need to do that, but that's something to bear in mind as well. Secondly, in terms of the actual working area, you should make sure that you have a big enough size working area that you can work from, that you keep it clean and tidy, and that you've got all the facilities that you need. So here we can see what is my home office. So I have a laser printer on the left, my extended screen, followed by my main computer screen. And then because I work in two businesses, Gamlins Law and HR Ranker, I have my set computer over here on the right. I have a wireless headset for use either with the computer if I'm doing conferencing, or I can also use it with my mobile phone to take and answer calls. I have a proper office chair to support my back, and then the office Springer Spaniel. And I have all the standard equipment that I would have in a normal office. So plenty of stationery, pens, papers, hole punches, staplers, anything that I could possibly need, I have it here as well. There's nothing worse than sort of charging around the house looking for things when you need them in the day. My printer's also a very good scanner, but there's some very good scanning apps on phones as well that I'd highly recommend. I've also got, because I use a Microsoft Surface Pro, the ability to sign documents on a computer as well, so that generally I have a paperless office, so I've got the facility to sign documents and fill in documents if I need to using an electronic pen. In terms of additional equipment, so because I do seminars and I do content like this as well, I always make sure that I have a good microphone and a set light as well. In terms of additional do's as well, so I like to prepare my breakfast and my lunch so that again I'm not sort of walking aimlessly around the house at lunchtime trying to find things to eat, and limit yourself to not doing household tasks through your day. You should ensure that you set out the periods of your day that are allocated to certain tasks, so whether that's that you're going to do a bit of housework or prepare some meals in the morning or do them after work. Don't be drawn into the temptation of doing those during your working hours. So in terms of then some don'ts, don't be isolated. Make sure that you're staying in touch with colleagues. Make sure you have a means of staying in touch, whether that's through your work's email system or through apps like WhatsApp or Workplace and things like that. It can be very easy to become isolated at home. Secondly, don't be drawn into the habit of sitting at your desk and not moving for hours on end, or working really unsociable hours. So I know when I've got lots of projects on, I can find myself still at my desk at 3 o'clock and I haven't had any lunch, is make sure that you're scheduling your day properly so you're not drawn into just sitting in one place and working through the day without taking appropriate breaks or walking around. So if you were in an office, you'd probably find you go get a drink, maybe go to the canteen. When you're at home, it's very easy to get caught in the trap of sitting at your desk all day. So try and make sure you avoid doing that. Another really important is don't set up your home office in an area of your house where you tend to relax or feel comfortable or spend your leisure time. So try not to, if you can help it, try not to set it up in a bedroom or living room. Make sure it's in an area that actually you can leave your work behind and then go and enjoy the rest of your home and spending time with your family as well, so that you are still having that split between your home life and your work life as well. Another really important don't, and it's a really difficult day for me to be saying this because it's so beautiful outside, is try and avoid working outside. It just doesn't really work. You get really distracted. You can't see your screens properly. If it's a beautiful day, it's a Friday afternoon, for me, the only time I will ever do it is if I've got some allocated administrative time in the day. So I don't need to apply my mind to client work. It's not anything that requires any really difficult thought processes, and it's just some routine work that I need to get done. Then I might allow myself to sit outside for a period. But generally, if it comes to client work, going outside for me is a no-no. And also you would hope that it's a no-brainer, but obviously no drinking alcohol. Particularly a day like this today when you've got blue skies and it's sunshine, it's very easy to think I'll sit in the garden with my laptop and have a glass of wine or a cold beer, but it's not professional, it's not appropriate, and certainly you wouldn't want to be undertaking client or customer work under the influence of alcohol. In addition to having a working area, I'd also suggest if you do video conferences or keep in touch with the workplace either through video conferences or you're holding seminars or webinars, is make sure that you have a designated area for holding those in your house. Either somewhere where it's quiet, where you've got a plain and a non-offensive background, and somewhere where the lighting's quite good as well. If you can't get reliable lighting in your home, so for example if you're reliant on natural light coming through the windows, you can purchase some very cheap scene lighting off the internet. The one I used was about £30 off Amazon, and it just, again, it presents a bit more of a professional demeanour than relying on household lighting. Obviously, if you are presenting online or if you're having video conferences, is make sure that people in your household are aware of what's going on. Ensure that household pets are put away somewhere else and they are quiet. I struggle with that. I have two extremely lively Springer Spaniels and it can be a bit of a nightmare to keep them quiet. And just make sure that the atmosphere that you're creating is similar to what it would be if you were face to face in a meeting and there's no other distractions. Confidentiality can be a big issue working from home as well, so I would suggest that you make sure that you have somewhere secure to keep your equipment so that when you're finished at the end of the day, if you're putting it away or you need to store documents and things like that, that they are secure in your home. They're nowhere where children are going to go and get their hands on them or things are going to get lost. It just adds to the stress from working from home, so make sure that you have got somewhere safe to put things. Equally, you should make sure when you leave your computer or leave your desk that you lock your screen and make sure that documents are in folders and things like that, so that if somebody were to come into your home and you have visitors, you're not inadvertently releasing confidential information to anybody. On the subject of visitors, you should strictly limit those during your working day and treat it again as if you were at work, so limit it to things like lunchtime or before or after work, just so that you get into the habit of treating it more like a working routine. So I hope these tips have been useful for you. If you have any questions about home working, any questions about my setup or where I've bought any of my equipment, please don't hesitate to get in touch and ask me. I hope you've enjoyed the content this week. There will be more to follow next week, and particularly some more tips on dealing with the employment challenges of the coronavirus and the current working climate. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Thank you again to all of the frontline workers who are out there trying to help battle the virus and keep people safe. And I will present again next week. Many thanks.